Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Redeemed Carnivore. I am too excited today. We are talking with Katie Kelly, which I know a lot of you are known as Little Bit of Fit. And we're just going to jump right into this. And of course, we see Pete in the background, and that's perfectly okay.
Oh yeah, you can see his tail.
Thank you for joining me, Katie, and thank you for talking with this. I know this is yesterday we had Mental Health Day, and this is kind of a mental issue as well. We're talking about addiction, and addictions can take many forms, as you well know. But I try to pose the question to everybody to get their comments on, what does addiction look like to you as far as professional and, in your own life?
Oh yeah, so it's going to be different for everyone. And I think a lot of us that veer more towards like a meat-based diet, because I know a lot of us that watch this channel and follow both of us, follow a more like carnivore approach, especially when it comes to like food and sugar and things like that. Like they really are true addictions. And I think a lot of people don't realize like how severe they can be and how much they really affect every facet of our lives. Ooh, don't really know what that is. Hold on. We had an Amber Alert. Real life. Amber Alert, apparently.
That's okay. That's okay. We keep rolling.
Yeah, we'll keep rolling. So I know a lot of us try to relay it similarly to like an alcoholic, like with alcohol. Because it really puts in perspective like how important it is to just give the appropriate attention to a topic like this, because it really is. I know I can really only speak for myself and experiences through the clients that I've worked with, that I mean, food addiction's a real thing. Yes. And it really is, especially with carbs and sugar, at least specifically for me. I mean, it is like an alcoholic. Like I can't just have one cookie. I can't just have one brownie, or that leads to self-sabotaging. I want the whole pan. And then, it leads us down that circle of I hate myself. Then you want to restrict, and then you binge again. And it's just a vicious cycle none of us want to get stuck in. Yeah. So like addiction, it's a real thing. And the carnivore diet, or I really hate using labels, but like a meat-based diet.
Right.
Because, people get dogmatic about that too.
Right.
Really, I think has just saved my life. Like my life is so much simpler and so much easier now since, just embracing what I think I knew all along was the right thing for me, and not listening to other people like you need to eat like this and get lost in the information really has saved my life. And I'm very, very grateful to just no longer really have those disordered eating habits like I had in the past. So it's a real thing. It is definitely something that people need to respect as a real issue that a lot of people have.
And I was talking with someone the other day, and they mentioned the same thing, that a lot of people do not understand that this is a real thing. And even in my journey of addiction and eating disorder, I said to someone that I was reaching out to help for, and they're like, I don't help people with just wanting chocolate cake all the time. I help people that are with real drugs. And, then as they got to talking with me, they realized this is a real thing. This is just like a heroin addict. Because it lights up the same part of the brain as a heroin addict, which I found to be just I was awestruck by that, because for you don't think about that. You think of, well, food is supposed to be for your body and for, fuel and that sort of thing. But the lines can be blurred, and it can go into that
very much
dark path of, this is something that I used to cope with. And I've shared with my story that that's exactly what I did. I went from alcohol to sugar, which is the same thing. I just took one and replaced it with the other.
Yep, I battled with both as well.
Well, and you still have, do you find that you still have the same mindset when you transition from like the alcohol just to the sugar?
Oh, you do. And I just had a conversation with a client about that because she was having similar issues. It's really about self-awareness and like getting real in that moment. Like, why am I wanting to reach for this drink? Like, was this an emotional trigger for me? Or like with food, why do I want to eat this whole box of cereal or plate of brownies or whatever? Like, am I trying to fulfill an emotional need or numb an emotional need? Did I not eat enough food and I'm really, really hungry? And this is just a primal response. Like, I want to grab whatever I can, or am I bored? Because like boredom is a big thing.
Yes.
Or maybe just not feeling fulfilled or happy with yourself. Boredom was a big thing for me. Or learned behaviors like sitting in front of the TV. Like growing up as a kid, we always had popcorn or like a snack, and you would just eat it because it's like, oh, well, we're having a snack. You smell food, it makes you hungry. But I just ate dinner like 2 hours prior. Like I shouldn't have been hungry. So it's just being aware of patterns and habits and taking that pause. Like that pause is so important. Like, how am I feeling in this moment, and why do I want to reach for this drink or reach for this plate of whatever you don't normally eat? Why am I wanting to do this right now? What do I need to give myself to make a better choice is everything.
Right. And recently I've been in therapy, and recently my therapist looked at me and said something about eating disorder. And I went, wait, no, I have addiction. And I came home and I asked my husband, I said, well, she said eating disorder. I'm saying addiction. I don't, and he looked at me, he goes, well, why can't it be both? Well, that took me 2 days to chew on that. But the more I'm learning about this, the more I'm seeing, yes, they are similar. They're not exactly the same, but they share the same traits.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm also seeing that there's a pattern from years ago. I did this, and she's like, well, it can morph, it can, just, and I'm like, oh yes, it has. So, I say addiction, but I also say eating disorder because they are very similar. I said,
very similar shades.
It is. And I said, well, I binge. And she goes, okay, well, do you also do the, to where you just have to eat it all at one time, kind of deal? Or is it just specific? And I'm going, oh, wow, this is bigger than what I thought.
And a lot of it can stem from like childhood, because I talked about this with, Keto Savage on his podcast, just about growing up, as you clean your plate, like we don't waste food.
Yes.
So you
There's
eat
people
everything.
in other countries that are starving.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, well, my mom and dad or whoever taught me I have to eat all this. Or, I grew up with two brothers. It was kind of like, well, if I don't eat all of this cake, I'm not going to get any because my brothers are going to eat it all. So that scarcity, just mentality and mindset, because that's really what it is. It gets ingrained in your brain and you take it with you into adulthood. And then it just transforms, into different areas of your life, whether it's disordered eating or relationship problems or like, your money story problems or whatever. I mean, you just like put it in your backpack and you take it with you. And it's not something that you want to keep in there, but you got to unpack it at some point.
And the unpacking, and I say it's like peeling an onion, because you take layers. And the closer you get to that center, the more it can kind of really hurt. And, I know I hear you talk all the time about owning your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of times to where you have posted some stuff and I was like, oh, that kind of hurt. But then when I look back on it, I'm glad you did, because it was like, that slapped me in the face, but that's something that I need to face head on. And that's hard for a lot of people to do because they don't want to face their demons. They don't want to face whatever's in that closet. And we all have those things from our childhood, relationships, or whatever. And so we turn to the food as a source of comfort, or that's what I do, you know. And then it gets down to where it's, you know, this is a real problem, you know.
Really, it's that self-acknowledgement is the first part. You have to acknowledge it first and give yourself some grace and be okay with it. You know, the difference is people who get better and ones that don't, the ones that get better choose not to stay there. Like, okay, once you're aware of this and you know that you can do better, now it's your time to choose different and do better. What is it? You know, you say thoughts become things and we attract the energy that we put out. And it's true, but you know, the word action is in the word attraction. Like you still have to act and do something different.
Right.
You know, you can't just say, I'm going to commit to a meat-based diet. You say it, but you don't do it. Or you say, I'm going to get up in the morning and walk for 20 minutes. You say it, but you don't do it. Like you actually have to do it. It's the same thing with getting to the root cause of your issues. Like, why are you doing it? Because if you don't touch on why you are doing it, it's really just putting a Band-Aid on things.
Right.
That's it.
You know, this morning, Jimmy Moore was on live and he was talking about, you know, what is your why and why are you doing this? Because he's doing this 100 days sabbatical. And of course, I popped on there and he said, what is keeping you from your goals? Well, I put in there fear. He says, fear of what? Well, that got me to chewing on. I'm like, so I'm walking up and down my road, you know, thinking, why am I fearful? You know, what is it? And that's a core thing for me is fear. And he goes, so what are you afraid of? What are you really afraid of? Are you afraid of failing? Because everybody fails. That's how you learn.
Amen.
You know, but as a child, I was in my story, I tell about my childhood and how, you know, messed up it was. But in my childhood, when I would fail, I would get yelled at. And so I equated with, okay, if you fail, you get punished. So, you know, now as an adult, I'm still with, okay, well, so I've gained weight. I've stopped, you know, not eating it, you know, so scarcely. I'm eating in maintenance and it's scaring the mess out of me.
It is, man. It's scary. I know. I did it too.
You know, but on the other hand, I'm like, okay, so what is my deal? And you talk about, I love this, that scale is a dirty box on the floor.
That's all it is.
And so today is day one of me not stepping on the scale because I have been weighing myself every day. And it messes with your mind. And it sets you up for failure. You know, because I look at all of these people going, well, wow, they look awesome. Well, I don't think to take into account the hours that they have put in. Like you know, you're at the gym, the way you eat and all like that. That's taken hours, days, years.
Yeah, long time, long journey.
And it is a journey. And like you say, everybody's journey is different. You know, my journey is not going to look like yours. You know, and I love this because I have to remember this when you say not everybody's like you. There's only one you. There's only one me. You know, and I think for the people watching as well, there's only one of you. There's some things that me and you can't do that they can do, or that, you know, we can't do or we can do, but it's everybody has got their own journey.
Yep, absolutely, we do. And like I say, like, You can't be pretty or look like anyone else. You can only be pretty like you. Like you said, like we're all different. All of our stories are different. I mean, reverse dieting and eating at maintenance when we're used to chronically under eating is one of the scariest things you can do, because the biggest fear a lot of us have is gaining weight. And it's sad that that's one of our biggest fears, when like you don't know if you could be here tomorrow.
Right.
And like you said about your childhood, mine was very similar. I equated, if I failed, I got in trouble, or if we lied or did something wrong, we got in trouble. So that fear of failure really paralyzes you from making the mistakes that you really need to make and being okay with it, because they are all lessons learned. Like, you're not your past. Your
Right.
past just kind of helps you find your stepping stones to, like, a better path. It doesn't mean that you're the worst thing in the whole world because you experiment with something and it doesn't work, or you make a
Right.
mistake. It's just a lesson. Nothing's irreversible. You can always choose again the next day.
I love that you said it, that they're stepping stones. Because if your childhood and my childhood wasn't the way it was, we wouldn't be the people we are today. It's made us who we are, good or bad, and everybody has good days and bad days. We all have our off times, but it wouldn't be you. It wouldn't be me. And the world needs you. The world needs me, because we all need to be in unity and we all need to be on the same page. And I know that, for you and me as well, when I see women that are saying, okay, I can't eat but this right here, because if I do, and I'm guilty of it, because I'll gain weight, and if I gain weight, I won't be accepted, I won't be loved. That hurts. That really hurts. It hurts my heart to know that society has done that to us. And that we inadvertently, because I've got grandkids, we inadvertently do that to the kids.
They're like little sponges. They see everything we do. They
Yes.
really are.
Yes. And you want them to have positive body images. You want them to be feeling good about themselves, feeling positive about themselves. Yes, there's things that everybody can work on. I can work on my strength. I can work on, having bigger muscles. But, it's the mindset when you're little and it starts out. That's one of the reasons why, I've started this channel, is because I wanted to help people with the same issue, even though I'm still struggling with it. I want to come alongside them and say, hey, girl, I'm same thing. But here's what I've learned. Let me share it with you. And I know that that's the way you feel in your coaching.
Absolutely. Well, like you said, everything that in the past that has made us the people we are today, that's why we're able to sit here and speak to others and help others. And, it really is about coming together, empowerment, support. Just like, there's no need for dogma. Like, that drives me crazy, like in whatever diet camp realm, whatever, because we're all different. Like, we just need to be here to share our stories and support one another.
Right.
That's it. Like, I don't care if somebody eats carbs or veggies or whatever they like. Like, if that makes them feel great and they're sharing their story from a positive place, cool. I love that. It's all about empowerment and being like, hey, I'm the same as you. I'm a real person just like you. I struggled just like you. I've done the same things. Here's what helped us along our journey. So, and just give back. That's really what it's all about.
Right. And just being decent humans.
Yeah, like, just be nice to people. People have bad days. Like, there's no reason to lash out and be mean and tell somebody they're wrong because, they eat pork or whatever, some silly thing. It's so silly. There's just no need for it.
I had on my thing that I did whenever I was saying that I was going to interview you today, I had somebody that eats vegetables to come on and kind of want to poke at me. And all I just said is, bless your heart.
That bless and block, man. That's what I say. Bless and block. I mean, it comes from all sides. I mean, I've had people that have Crohn's just like me be like, well, I can't believe you eat meat. Like, I can't eat that stuff. And I'm like, well, that's the difference. And the confusion and frustrating part about IBS and IBD and Crohn's is all of our triggers are different. You know, I would eat fruits and vegetables if I could eat them and digest them properly and they didn't cause issues for me. I would, but I can't. But for you to be like, I can't believe you're eating meat, I just was like, oh, bless your heart. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I didn't respond anymore. I'm just like, bless your
Not
heart,
worth it.
and just, you know, move on, you know. But you know, I'm the same way. If I could eat vegetables, yes, there's vegetables that I do miss. If I could eat pork, yes, I would eat pork. But the reality of it, and dairy, the reality of it is my system, you know, and I've been off and on carnivore, if you want to call it that, for several years, really strict carnivore for a year, because I've been sober for a year. And so, you know, my gut is still healing. Will my gut ever heal to the point to where I can eat vegetables and dairy? I have no idea.
Yep. Who knows?
You know, but you just have to do what works for you and what is best for your system, to where, you know, what's good for your system may not be what's good for my system, you know. And I'm like you, I can't stand the dogma of, okay, well, you're carnivore or you're keto, you know, because I've been introducing a few, you know, like avocado. I've been introducing that.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
But some carnivores will go, you're doing what?
Right.
Like, you know, or either some keto will be like, oh, well, you're not true carnivore, you're, you know, dipping into the keto. Okay.
It's like, that's why I just say I'm meat-based. I eat majority meat. I mean, I'll eat occasional rice cakes or, you know, social alcohol every once in a while. I can moderate some alcohol now. And some people are like, well, you're not really carnivore. I was like, well, I don't really care about a label. I am meat-based. 99% of the food that I eat is meat.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's me. You know, I eat meat mainly because of the convenience, mainly because I like it, mainly because it's cheap. You know, you do what you got to do. But is there anything that, before we wrap up, and because I know your schedule is busy, is there anything that you would like to really talk about, you know, and really kind of get out on the World Wide Web, I guess you'd say?
Yeah. So I think that the biggest problem across the board that I see with people failing at whatever they want to set out on life is just lack of belief in themselves. You really truly have to believe that you can do better and get better. And that really takes, you know, action, like I talked about too. So mindset and really believing in your worth and deservingness is huge. Like, that really is the root cause problem of probably 99% of the issues that most of us have with whatever it is in life. And knowing that, like, you have to nourish your body and your mind and your soul. And that means eating enough food. That means telling yourself that you love yourself in the mirror instead of negative things all of the time. You know, creating an environment that's positive from what you consume on social media. Like, you can mediate that thing. Right. You don't have to follow accounts that make you feel bad about yourself. You don't have to put up with people saying mean things to you. Block them off your account. Right. You know, listen to positive things in the morning. Set your day up for success. All you got to do is walk, guys. Just be like, as far as workouts, people want all these complicated, like, you know, meal prep recipes, and they think workouts have to be complicated. Y'all, all you got to do is get up and walk. Make sure you get your steps in during the day, whatever your appropriate goal is, and eat food that doesn't trigger physical and mental problems. And sleep, that's really all you got to do. It doesn't have to be any more complicated. And like fall in love with the journey. Like I talked about this on a client call today. You can't be that high chaser that only chases goals. And then once you hit your goal line, you're done. Like you really have to create a lifestyle and a mindset that is going to nourish you and make you just a better, more successful human. That's what falling in love with the journey is all about. That's what's going to keep you consistent. You know, you can't go yo-yo diet your way throughout life because you're always just chasing a goal, or you tell yourself you mess up all the time, because that's when you fall off. Like it's really about cultivating a positive environment and nourishing your body, your mind, and your spirit. All of it is interconnected. And don't get lost in the information. Like we lose our intuition, whether it's with eating or making decisions, because we always think we have to compare and do what the other person is doing. Like, you know what the right answers are. You guys just ignore them. All right. So listen to yourselves. Listen to your gut. Literally, listen to your gut. It's never wrong.
Right. That is great. You know, and I think that that's a really good point is, you know, just take the first step, go down the journey. You're going to hit bumps in the road, but, and mindset is 3/4 of it, because if you have it here in your mind, your body's going to have to follow. You know, so positive, like you're saying, get up in the morning and say, okay, this is what we're going to do today. Do we feel like doing it? Absolutely not. Are we going to do it? Yes, we're going to do it. We're going to prove, if nothing to anybody but ourselves, we can do this. You know,
it's all about keeping commitments to yourself. We're not always motivated, but you can choose to be the person that keeps commitments to yourself and do what you need to do.
Right. Yeah, because, you know, if we wait for motivation, it may never come. You know, You know, I'm not motivated to go fold that laundry.
Oh, girl, I don't like doing it either.
You know, I'm you know, I'm not motivated to get up and, you know, do whatever, but it's got to be done, you know. So just, you know, and most of the time it doesn't take but just a few minutes. The other day, I'm like, well, I don't have time to, I've got some bands that I've been working out to strengthen my arms. And I'm like, well, I really don't have time. And I'm just like, no, wait, you got 5 minutes. How much can you get done in 5 minutes? In 5 minutes, you'd be amazed at how many reps I did.
Yeah, you just got to do it. Like I tell people, get up. You'll see me walk circles around my CT machine at work, or, you know, walk circles around the building. I have little dumbbells I keep at work, you know, because I just want to get up and move my body. Like it's just little bitty things. Commercial breaks, get up and walk around the house, or do, you know, some reps with some dumbbells. That's really all you got to do. Start there. Right.
You know, and it's really that simple, but it's making that commitment, is taking the time to do it. It's like, okay, am I going to sit here on social media and scroll, or am I going to get up and move my body, or, you know, am I going to make a healthy choice instead of an unhealthy choice? Because your future self is going to thank you for it, or your future self is going to go, well, we should have done this, you know, years ago. And, you know, for me, and I know for you too, from just your story, that, you know, our past selves were not healthy. And so we had to fight, and still fighting, to be healthy. And, you know, I don't mind saying how old I am. I'm 49. Okay. You know, I'm fixing to hit 50. It's going to take me a lot longer, and it's going to be a lot harder for me to build up my strength, because all I wanted to do was get to a number, and I wanted to be this big, you know, and oh, hey, look, I'm 122, or I'm whatever, and I'm weak as I don't know what. I can't lift anything. I don't want that. You know, so I have to start today. So.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk with me and to be on my channel.
You're welcome. My pleasure. This is great.
I have had such a good time, and I hope that people have learned a lot. And y'all, if you don't follow Katie, go follow her on Instagram. Now you have a blog, is right, as well.
Yeah, I have a blog too, because I post a lot of like lengthy captions and it's easier for people to read. So littlebitofit.com. It's like just like my Instagram handle. Super active on Instagram. You can pretty much find all my information in the link in my Instagram bio, or just send me a DM and I'll shoot you in the right direction. But yeah, most active there. And if you guys need anything, you know where to find me.
And she also has a group coaching that she's doing that I missed out on, but maybe next time. But
yeah,
I know that you have posted on there that it is going fabulous. And
yes, it's going very well.
Good. So y'all check her out. Thank y'all for watching, and I will see y'all later.
All right, bye guys.